this is just in spring. I had the opportunity of making a video life portrait of the Novak's home. I know them very well, and it's one of the homes that I like to visit. I'm an art collector myself, but I don't even come close to the variety of objects from around the world that they have in their home. And it's not just that they have them, but how they have been displayed. We're in the foyer, and I'm just taking a look around the foyer now with the camera at some of the things they have brought from the Far East. They lived in Hong Kong and in Saudi Arabia, in Australia, probably some other places, as Steve's job, took him around to those locations. And here we're up on the main floor as you come in, and I really love the way that Cindy has decorated this home. You can go to a lot of homes that have objects of art and paintings and the like, but you always feel as though some very fastidious interior decorator were in there arranging things before you came. This house has a lived-in quality to it, and there's something about the continuity of the objects, the bowls, the little Buddhas, whatever it happens to be, as well as huge amounts of wine, because Steve does like to drink, and that says that they belong to this family. It's just, if you get to know Cindy and Steve, that you'll see that harmony, especially in Cindy. She has a wonderful artistic sensibility, and every time that I have been working on this video, I was just struck by how beautifully things have been arranged here. It's a work of art in itself is the arrangement, because there are so many things from their travels, and I'm kind of focusing on the wine because I know Steve is proud of it. He knows good wine, and my daughter happens to have a small winery out in California with her husband, and Steve likes that wine as well, so that shows he has good taste. Anyway, look at this arrangement of teapots. How could you do it any better? You just couldn't. And then the little whimsical teapots that every family has, who collects teapots. And I'm not one of them. I have a steel teapot that is rusted on the bottom and leaves marks on everything. So, but I don't drink tea either, and I got it just as a convenience for friends. This is, again, some of the art. It's really extraordinary. And, everything here is a feast to the eyes. We just went past some of those little elephant tables, and here we're just taking a look at one of the end tables and some of the lithographs. I guess those are lithographs that they have there. And we're starting to journey into the kitchen here, which is Steve's territory. Steve, in a great reversal of roles, for which Hungarians are famous, because he is Hungarian by birth, coming over here after the revolution as a chubby little child, but he does all the cooking, and you have to be careful if you step behind the counter there that you don't touch anything, and he does all the shopping. He has a couple of markets in town that he goes to. They're just the little neighborhood Mexican markets, and some are the organic markets. He has his likes for each of them, and he buys a tremendous amount of fruit, which he uses both for his drinks and for some wonderful desserts, which are always composed of fruit, some kind of fruit, which is always very tasty, and these little chocolates with booze inside them, which I've become very fond of, So it's always nice to go to their house for your dinner because of the meal is great. Steve has a little heart condition. I should say little, that's pretty considerable. So he adopted a non-fat, non-fry kind of low-salt diet, and he's able to cook within there's Steve now. You can see the back of his head, and that's from the kitchen looking out, but one of the great things about his cooking is that it's delicious, but when you get up, it's like eating Chinese food. You're ready to eat again. You don't have that feeling that you're ready to pass out, especially for somebody like myself who's a big eater. I am a big eater, so I love going there. They really put a spread out. I'm just letting my eye kind of wander over. This is a small dining room near the kitchen where they'll have your breakfast, which Steve is up early in the morning. If you stay there, he's making coffee and some little fruit things that he puts out. It's generally a very light breakfast like that, which I like. That's my hat, by the way. And this is just looking around. I love Cindy's sense of color. It's really runs the gamut from pop to classic. That's one of those little wonderful elephants, and they have a boat out in the back, and they have canals, and they're overlooking. You'll see it pretty soon. They're overlooking a kind of nature preserve there. So they get their share of mosquitoes, but they also get a fantastic view. There's their two kids, Paul and Andrea, and of course the proud parents there with them in that wonderful carved picture frame. And you can just see this piece of carved wood is just incredible. And I just love handmade things that are done well. There's a lot of handmade things that aren't done well, so we'll forget about those, But in terms of the things they have, and these are kind of inlaid pictures, and then the colors in the house are so interesting because they're both the bright colors of the culture they come from, and then the more muted colors of the ceramics and of the older tapestries and things like that, So the house, which is built on big concrete pilings, Steve's an engineer, so he built it to withstand all kinds of storms and hurricanes. It has a lot of light that is coming into it from all sides because it's up in the air like that, and you can see all around to the nature preserve. But the colors interior-wise in the house mix very well with the outside, which is something that's hard to do. But they have lots of woods and things that in fact we don't find too often in the things that we pick up here in America, and marbles and inlays like you see right here, Here's one of those wonderful, I don't know if that's a print or if it's a inlay, but here's a wonderful chest. These carved, and this looks like a ceramic inlaid wooden chest, and it appears to be from the Orient somewhere. The colors are gorgeous. They're so muted, and there's something I would expect also from the Far East. This is a poem by the famous poet Justin Spring. It's called House of Light, which his house certainly is. This is Steve's office, which is crammed full of books. I once gave him as a gift a small portrait of Whitey Vanoy, one of the characters that I do. And he couldn't fit it in his office, and he had so much stuff in there. So he's a real busy boy, and he has a great knowledge of history, which is almost always accurate. And he has a fantastic memory, at the age we are. I'm not going to mention it, but let's say that it starts with a 7, and it's not 17. That the memory starts to fail a bit. Steve has an incredible memory. I think he remembers everything he's ever read or seen. So he's always good. You can ask him about this or that. He's generally on numbers. Here, this is his office. It's a shared office with Cindy. Some of his maps. He's a kind of technical guy, Steve, and he was the guy who like designed the structure of the house, and then I believe that Cindy finally came up with the interior design, and probably the exterior paints they probably did themselves in the shapes. But this is looking at the nature preserve. It's really quite beautiful, and it's something that's it's a delight to be here. They have a lot of glass display cases around with objects from around, and they're always displayed well. You know, I've done a number of homes, and to have objects is one thing, but to display them well is, you know, you can't buy that. You know, that's the kind of thing that takes some taste. Again, here it's a nature preserve, looking out at their docks and the globe of the world, which is very important to know where you are at all times. Which is, here's one that's a beautiful. It looks like a dark ebony display case, probably from China. That looks like an Egyptian piece there. I suspect besides the places that they lived, I never really got a full lowdown from them of the places that they've traveled to, but at least the places that they've lived, they were able to gather furniture and art objects extensively. You know, it really was something that, besides the thrill of traveling. Now here's a kind of photo wall of their kids, of Paul and Andrea, and of themselves at various stages of youth and middle age and whatever we call this age when we become insurance risks. Andrea plays the violin, and she's a gymnast and everything. Paul's quite an academic. He's out in Pennsylvania now. He's on the road. He does a lot of damage evaluations as a result of natural disasters for FEMA. Here you see the kids. You're growing up. I don't know who these kids are. I guess this is all a mixture of when they're young and when they're old. So let me say that Paul bears no resemblance as a youth to what he grew up to as a man, whereas Andrea, you can recognize her. But Paul got a little darker and darker. That's the best way to describe it. And bigger, of course, you know. These, I think, are Steve when he was a kid. I'm not too sure, but anyway, he'll be pointing out that I made a mistake when he watches this, and he'll say, "This is me at age so and so, and so and so and so and so." That's Steve, obviously, because nobody would cut their hair like that today. I don't think they would anyway. It'd be pointed at. Let's put it that way, you know. That's Cindy, of course, you know, when she was younger, and this is somebody's soccer team, you know, that everybody's famous for those soccer teams, and there's Paul and Andrea again, and I'm going to go past. I've shown you some of these pictures before. This Paul as a kid, he doesn't look anything like he looks today, and that one doesn't look it at all, so I presume that's Paul. I hope it is. But anyway, I thought I'd go through these a second time. That's a wonderful Paul and Andrea together, and here they are at a much older age before they branched out into the adult world. And here's one of my famous ceiling shots in which I'm coming back again. You know what happened? I guess that I included this sequence twice, not knowing it. So again, I'm going to stick by my guns. That's Steve and his relatives in Hungary, and he'll have a second chance to point out that I'm incorrect or haven't been complete in my description. So here we go up again, and that Steve was a young man. And who that is on top, that looks a lot like Steve when he was a kid. I don't know, I'm just kind of guessing at that. And there's again Cindy. She looks fabulous there, doesn't she? So, you know what we've done here? We've done something very stupid, so I think, I'm not too sure. So let's see what happens when we cross over. Okay. I thought we had been caught in a loop that went on forever and ever and ever, but I guess that we didn't do that. So we're back in there. This kind of moves around because I hate order when it's too linear. So this is their bedroom, and again, look at those wonderful colors on the rugs, and it's just very light. In fact, I like my bedroom like this too. I don't know if Steve likes it, but I consider Cindy likes it this way. I like a lot of light in my bedroom so that it would pass for a Haagen-Dazs, and I think that Cindy does the same thing with the white sheets and the white colorings and the paintings. Again, they've done a lot of gardening too, which I haven't shown a lot of it, but they're big Florida native people, in terms of their plants. This again, I'm hopping inside and outside as you would see it from their bedroom. I'm back in their bedroom with some of their private photographs and their private teapots, which Cindy must have been a very busy girl at the markets, is all I can say, because I would suspect there's somewhere around 100 teapots in the house. So look at these beautiful turquoise vases here. This is, again, it's part of their bedroom set here with all the little wonderful Buddhas there. I just got one recently myself, so I'm a proud possessor of a Buddha now. Somewhat similar to the one in the middle, but much, much smaller, that my brother brought back from, let's call it Indochina, as it was called in the old days. I forget all the new names. This look at those earthenware vases. Aren't they just gorgeous? I don't know how they got this stuff around the world. I guess Steve had a good expense account. But there are, those I would presume are lacquer vases. And look at this wonderful chair, And again, these are the things they have in their bedroom, so that in addition to the light, you get these wonderful pastel paintings, and you go outside and you can see the light pouring in. That's me. You get that as a part of your video life portrait. You get my belly sticking out. That's part of the price of it. I'm like Alfred Hitchcock. I always get into every video life portrait. This is their bathroom, which is really nice. It looks out of the front of the house now, and that's kind of vacant lot to the right. It's not that attractive, but the bathroom is great. It again has those same kind of muted colors, and I thought I'd spend some time in it, not so much to show you the plumbing, but to show you the colors. You just can't beat what's been done with the earthen colors here, and it kind of sets the tone for the house itself. And again, paintings everywhere. It's something I wish that more people did more of, when they traveled. If they could pick up a painting here or there, over time it begins to add up. You don't have to do it all at once by kind of running down to Pier 56, whatever it is, where you buy these things. It's the hallway looking out of the bedroom, and I've suddenly brought us downstairs, which they fixed up now. They've raised up the house because of the hurricane situation. It's a thing that's also done just to save some money, But look at these carved camels. They're just so gorgeous. And a horse, too, just to show you that I know the difference between a camel and a horse. This is downstairs. It's a kind of half-finished basement. It's just finished in the right way. It's just painted nicely, and a lot of nice paintings around. There's a little recreation area and a TV area. And this is sometimes, they have a guest room upstairs. They have a couple of them. But down here, I've always stayed down here because I like to watch the TV late at night. And so in fact, I don't bother anybody, I'm just known as the man who plays the TV all night long, even when he's sleeping, which my kids are amazed at. But anyway, this is downstairs, and they've decorated it very nicely. It's wonderful old mahogany bed there, I would presume, and the rugs again are just kind of knockout. And this is a Chinese bed that they brought back and constructed. I guess Steve finally had to put some work into this. I've never slept in this because it's relatively small, and I'm at so many stones, whatever. It must be a big number, whatever. But I wouldn't try to lay on that baby even just to sit on it. And again, all the little objects and the colors are just wonderful down here. And they have kept some of the walls natural and I painted some of them white. They're the cement block, you know, it works well. This is something that Steve must have, there's his name on it, so it must be something that he got from work or whatever. And again, some of the Oriental paintings. This is a bar, which I presume, I've never used this bar as a bar when I've been here, so I presume it's for very large gatherings, maybe for family. They'll have some people downstairs and they'll kind of go down there. But just to show you, and then to show you again, just a wide range of paintings that they have. And these are the pastels, which I presume come from either Indochina, as I call it in the old days, whatever their names are now, and they have that look to it. Okay, and that's me again. That's what you get, and that part 3 there shouldn't belong there, but I'm too tired to take it out. It was supposed to be removed, but again, this is some of the artwork of the poet Justin Spring. It's kind of funny artwork. That's me, by the way, so I always get several mentions. And Cindy had the good taste to recognize it as works of small genius. This is another work of genius. It's their elevator, which I can tell you that I like, especially when I'm bringing bags up and down, is their first floor is quite high. You know, it's elevated, I would say, 12 feet in the air, you know, the floor, so you walk up a big flight of stairs. And now we're back out on their porch, which I didn't get a chance to show you. This looks out over the nature preserve. It's a wonderful view, and the sun sets here. By the way, that if I remember correctly, that it will rise in the front of the house. So that's a kind of orientation that's highly spiritual and shows advanced thinking, as that's what you want to always be facing, the rising sun. That's the first of the guides. That's Steve. Now I fogged up my camera somehow because he was cooking up a storm. He cooks all the meals, and he's a very good cook, and he has his Hungarian dishes as well as some kind of traditional things. He just gets busy there. That's some of the wonderful Bunter Spring wine that he likes. That's my daughter's wine, so I have to get a plug in there for her and for Mark Bunter, her husband. And this was, I believe, a Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner, but it was a spread, and I don't think I got a chance to show you here the fabulous desserts, which I love so much, but they give you an idea of this is the main dining room, by the way, which is in a gorgeous location. Okay, so anyway, that's the little tour that you just had, and I gladly tell you that I also did the music on this using GarageBand, because I figure if you have an artistic talent in any of the disciplines today with computers, you can do just about anything. So these are the titles. I want to thank Cindy and Steve for letting me into their home so many times. I don't know if I'll see them again, but I have this now also, as well as they have, as a kind of memory of the beautiful home that they have, and of the taste and the thought that went into it. So I'm going to do a little trick here at the end, and I'm going to give you a little balloon farewell on the lacquer, and wish the Novaks well.